There is nothing like export product or a domestic product.
I want to export. I'm a beginner. I'm not new to business. I've been doing some domestic business. I have my eye towards exports because I see the country growing. And eventually I see some opportunities. I'm an ambitious entrepreneur. How should one systematically approach engineering exports?
In the global share, India's share is about 2% and China's share is about 17%. They have made many countries dependent on their products.
If we want to be competitive, we have to compete.
It is not an option anymore. It has become compulsory for government, non-government players to be in the race.
Do you think they become comfortable because of the huge domestic volumes?
Yes. Anybody who has to get into export has to develop that mindset to become an exporter. To get married, the basic requirement is to find a girl.
Either you should have the hunger to find the information or you will find an excuse.
Yes.
Let us touch upon everybody's favorite topic, which is money. What is export financing? What does DGFT do? What does FIEO do? How does the financing ecosystem Forex? Please touch upon that for the benefit of everyone. In today's episode, we sit down with Mr. CH Nadiger. He has over 20 plus years of experience working with Indian engineering export companies and helping them export their products to over 120 countries. If you've never heard of this organization, the Engineering Export Promotion Council, or EEPC, it was started in the year 1955 and it is headquartered in Kolkata. It comes under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and it is the primary body of the central government which helps Indian engineering export companies export their products. It is currently the largest trade promotion organization in the country with over 13,000 members constituting of engineering companies, corporate houses and small and medium businesses. The council has around 60% of MSME businesses as its members. In this podcast, we cover a wide range of topics ranging from how the central government offers various schemes, benefits, subsidies for Indian engineering exporting companies, how to leverage B2B participation in trade shows, and what kind of mindset an Indian engineering exporter should adopt while taking this route. This podcast is going to be a bit long, but if you're from the engineering sector, it is going to be filled with a lot of nuggets of information that you can use. I would suggest to have a notebook or some form of note-taking instrument with you so that you can note down the terms that are being used in the podcast and maybe use it for your research later. If you're not from the engineering sector and you're watching this video, and if you have friends in the engineering sector, please do share it with them as this will be very valuable to them. Before we dive in, to have a seamless experience, I request you to switch to 1.5x video speed and reduce the resolution so that you could save on data and focus more on the audio. You can also listen to the podcasts on Spotify, YouTube Music and Apple Podcasts, the links of which I'll leave in the description. Thank you so much once again for your time.
Hi sir.
Hi.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for accepting the invite and coming all the way from Chennai to have this podcast, to participate and be our guest in this podcast. So before we proceed further and get deep into the episode, can you just give a small intro of about who you are, who Mr. Nadiger is? What is your role in EEPC, Engineering Export Promotion Council? What's your role there? And what exactly is Engineering Export Promotion Council and how it helps the small businesses in India?
Thank you, Mr. Vignesh, Mr. Sibi, for inviting me to this podcast episode. My name is CH Nadiger. I'm working as a regional director in EEPC India, which is also known as Engineering Export Promotion Council. So I'm heading the southern region of EEPC India as its regional director, which comprises of 6 states of South India: Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala and the Union Territory of Pondicherry. Engineering EEPC India is an export promotion council. Export promotion councils are established by the Government of India for every product sector to promote exports from India of those products. And EEPC India caters to the engineering sectors wherever metals, except the precious metals, are involved. And the whole of South India export promotion is my area of interest, and we support both exporters for increasing their exports and those who are engineering manufacturers and not exporters. Our endeavor is to make them exporters. That is how, with this two-pronged strategy, we promote exports of engineering products from South India. And lot of services we provide to the exporting community to firstly to reach out to the customer base by organizing trade fairs all over the world. We provide them local support, liaising activities to solve their local issues with the central and state government agencies. Thirdly, we help them in getting the visas at the various embassies and consulates.
For participation in international trade fairs.
Even for traveling abroad, if they wish for a business trip,
Right.
We provide. We also help them in the technology upgradation of their products based on the requirement of the of the customers therein, and a lot of knowledge enrichment activities we do for them in terms of market research, information on regulations inside the country, outside the country, what is happening around the world, by organizing seminars, conferences, workshops, and also updation on day-to-day operational skills in documentation, in understanding customs procedures, filing of GST returns for export and imports, understanding nuances of letters of credit. All these knowledge and information.
All the nitty-gritties of...
Nitty-gritties, yes. What an exporter need. Not only the exporter per se, but his employees, his staff would be needing a lot of information. So this information is provided to them to augment their capabilities and capacities. Apart from that, whatever the exporter needs from the government side in terms of policies and programs, we are the voice or a conduit of the exporting community to take it to the state as well as central government,
right,
for bringing out necessary policy changes within the country, maybe interacting with the foreign government which is hampering the exports. So we take the issues to the government for solving the issues. These are some of the major activities what we do in the export promotion councils, and my role is to implement everything, all these aspects in the southern part of India.
Right. So there are regional offices across India, and you act as a liaison between the manufacturing industry, manufacturers, and the central government and the international bodies, whichever country people are going to export to.
Yes, it is not only, we don't say manufacturers alone. There are a good number of merchant exporters.
Right. Okay.
So we take care of both manufacturer and merchant
Anyone
exporter.
who is into exporting engineering commodities,
Yes,
if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, exporting and prospective exporters.
Prospective exporters of engineering
Of
commodities.
engineering commodity.
Right. So,
And to add to, we have similar export promotion councils for
Each
other
and
set of
every.
products.
Right.
We have for leather, we have for electronics, we have for plastics, we have for chemicals and allied products. We have for textiles, we have for apparel, we have for gem and jewelry.
Right.
So each council will cater to the needs of the respective product sector, industries and exporters.
Right.
where does services come under this picture, sir?
We have a separate export promotion councils called Services Export Promotion Council.
Which includes all the software and
Yes.
any kind of services that people provide.
Yes,
right?
the headquarters is in Delhi.
Okay.
We have two, and the branch, regional office is in Bangalore.
Right.
So So can you throw some light on the history of EEPC, sir? When was it formed? Was it formed in 1950s itself or later?
Yes.
Just a small idea about...
Yes, it was formed in the year 1955.
Okay.
And by a group of exporters, and T.T. Krishnamachari, the first industry minister of the independent India.
Okay.
He inaugurated our council in the year 1955. Those days, Eastern India, Calcutta, was a hub of engineering industry.
Right.
And that is the reason why the first our Export Promotion Council headquarters was established in Calcutta.
Okay.
And I'm speaking from Coimbatore, I'm proud to say that T.T. Krishnamachari inaugurated our Export Promotion Council.
I think EEPC has come a long way since its inauguration. And how has your work transformed over the years? How was it when, I'm sure you did not work in 1950s, but how has the role of EEPC transformed over the past 20 years? Let us compare a time when you had joined to today with 20 years of experience. How has it transformed? A small glimpse.
If I look from the beginning, we rate our performance on 2 counts.
Okay.
Number of exports and the value of exports. The third is there, the technology level of our exporting products. If I look from the beginning, when we started, our exports was about $10 million with about 100 exporters.
This
Now,
was 100
this was in
exporters. 100 exporters throughout India?
Throughout India.
Oh.
And now, over a period of time, so many years, more than 6 decades, we are about $110 billion with about more than 10,000 exporters. And the growth is phenomenal. After liberalization in the year 1990s,
Post the license Raj, maybe.
Post the license Raj, I can say, the growth has been phenomenal. And we consider ourselves to be the largest export promotion council. And our contribution to the Indian merchandise export basket is to the tune of 24-25%.
Out of the GDP?
The total export basket of merchandise goes.
Okay.
Which doesn't include services, if I'm not wrong.
Doesn't include any other products. It's only engineering products. And even in value addition, we have come a long way. Earlier, we were exporting low value added products to a select few countries. The reach has grown wider all over the globe, and Indian engineering companies are exporting high-end technology products. You find our products in the best cars manufactured anywhere around the world, the best aeroplanes manufactured anywhere in the world, best plant and machinery, high technology, automation manufactured in the most developed nations. So our journey has been very phenomenal. Third front, when I say 2 things, number of exporters and the value. Yes, we have been successful, I can say. But the third area which we wish is to increase our share in the global export market, engineering trade, global trade. There, I would admit that we have not been very much successful, and we have made some kind of analysis on our own. We have found that one reason would have been that we have been focusing more on a select few countries, not expanding our base.
Not looking at the globe as whole.
Such and other markets. Second is we have not focused on technological advancement in our products. So EEPC is looking into these 2 areas so that our share in the global share in Indian market merchandise is fantastic. 1/4 of the Indian basket we are covering.
Yeah.
But global trade, our share
Still
should increase.
Yeah.
Looking at our capacity, we are considered as the
young nation,
workshop of the world, next to China.
Right.
And if you look at our presence in the global trade, we need to work a little and we need to improve.
I think the aspiration and the reality don't match.
Right now in this scenario.
In this scenario.
And hopefully, since we are looking in that area, hopefully we'll be able to achieve it.
So,
how do you see, sir, in the last, I think, 10 years and maybe now the present term, the government has been fairly stable. How has the ease of doing business within the country, it has improved, but we still have a long way to go. There are still frictions between the state government, central government, GST problems, all that is there. How do you see things have changed over the past 10 years, past decade, and what do you see going forward?
Sorry for the interruption. I have one quick announcement before we continue. We recently organized a seminar in association with the Engineering Export Promotion Council, which saw a participation of 70 plus manufacturers from around the city come together. This seminar was conducted by the guest of this podcast, Mr. Nadiger, where he goes even deeper on topics like how to begin your export journey, how does one systematically approach engineering exports, the various subsidies that Indian government provides to the engineering exporters, and if you are an existing exporter, how to expand your market reach, and so on. For the benefit of everyone, me and my team spent almost 40 hours videographing, editing and compiling the entire event along with the 40-page PPT which contains all the resources that is needed for anyone to get started with their engineering exports. If you want the link for the video of the entire seminar along with the 40-page documentation for free, I leave the link in the description below. Consider subscribing and do follow us for more such updates. Thank you.
Ease of doing business started improving from 1990 onwards, I would like to say.
Okay.
And thereafter our economy started improving. India tried to understand its true potential, what India can do globally. And in the decade starting millennium, the governments all over understood the importance of growing economy more than any other sectors of the society. That importance, irrespective of the government, they had to focus on economy.
Correct.
So last 20 years, we are doing very well in the ease of doing business. Digitization has fast grown in the last 10 years, I would like to say. Everything has been made online. So in my work experience, I've started feeling my involvement. In fact, when we think of a decade before or 15 years before, I used to spend a lot of time in solving the issues of exporters with government agencies on the documentation, on file getting held up for some reason. That effort has come down drastically. So that we as an export promotion agency is able to focus on other areas for promoting exports.
More productive areas.
Productive area. So of late, digitization has helped. Now everything, to become a member of EEPC, nobody need to come to me. To go to DGFT for getting any license, you need not go.
True.
And even in customs, ICE gate, GST, fairly the digitization has made working towards ease of doing business. But still, as you rightly pointed out, we have not reached that ultimatum, the goal. Some minor hindrances are there. Hiccups, teething problems are there. Before maybe another few years, things would settle down.
Right.
It is not an option anymore. When India is trying to be amongst the runners in the competition. It has become compulsory for government, non-government players to be in the race.
If we want to be competitive, we have to compete.
And that competition, irrespective of the government, we need to be part of that group and run around. And things will move at its own pace.
You were mentioning about India performing well when we compare with the previous year and when we compare with the total merchandise exports. But you were also mentioning that we are not at par with the global trade. So, and you said there are a few shortcomings which you have observed and analyzed. From our side, us doing business, our own experience, I'll just share it with you. Getting a quote through WhatsApp from a supplier in China is easier than getting a quote from a new supplier in India for us. Let us ignore the existing suppliers. We have a good relation. Getting a quote from a China supplier is easier than getting a quote from the new supplier in India. That's what we have personally observed by doing business for more than 8 years. And this is one of the common trends that a few of our colleagues, other peer business people have told us, that sometimes getting materials, even getting a quote from a new supplier is difficult, is what people say. Somewhat we have observed that the speed at which we respond to the customer inquiries is very slow, is what we feel. My question to you is, have any of the members of EEPC informed you about this kind of speed which is helping us? What is your experience on that, sir? That's is it only the speed, or
is it a mindset problem like within us as Indians?
No,
or how do you see
I could get what you intend to ask me.
Yeah.
And the answer also you have mentioned. Indian entrepreneurship has not looked beyond the shores of the country. Basically, when the British left the country, we did not have many large players to take on entrepreneurship, and a few community-based businessmen started the business. And over a period of time, government was very worried about this kind of a thing. And you might have observed that government spent a lot of money, and that is how a lot of public sector undertaking came during the first and second 5-year plan. So when the first public sector undertaking started taking the responsibility of industrialization in the country. They started with the core sector. They took support from Russia on the technology. A lot of steel companies have come.
Right, from defense to everything.
Yes.
Was public sector. Yeah.
And we manufactured machine tools. We manufactured watches. We manufactured tractors. We manufactured transformers.
I think
both at the central and the state level, a lot of public sector
first
came up.
20-30 years of our independence was predominantly driven by infrastructure and public sector.
And to serve the public sector, there was a drive to set up small units. So that is how industrialization started. And nobody started industry to export. So over a period of time, maybe in 70s, 80s, despite the license Raj, one or two companies started exporting. We never had a foreign exchange coming from export sales those days. It used to be mostly by aid only, if you know, from the advanced economies or from the multinational funding agencies. So during 90s, when it got liberalized, the decontrol things have started, and thereafter some of us started looking at exports as an option. So Globalized entrepreneurship.
I think as an option, not an opportunity.
Not an opportunity.
Right.
And we have to graduate. That was the thinking. Somebody has to graduate. So somebody thought of it as a chance. Somebody thought of it as an option. Unlike other countries, basically the reason is because of the huge size of the economy, industrialization has not reached at that time the level the Europe and the advanced economies had reached. So we were happy supplying to the local domestic. So even today I feel that most of the MSMEs,
that trend is still continuing.
They are happy with their domestic market, and most of the MSMEs are one-man show.
Yeah.
And they spend their time in day-to-day firefighting.
Correct.
And exports need some kind of an additional thinking, vision, focus, at least from the entrepreneur or the promoter himself.
I think
so.
People should be working above the business.
Yes.
Looking forward, not today.
Since his time is consumed
by the
in local firefighting, and that is the reason. Since the number of exporters, though number of industries having the potential to export is mind-boggling. It may run in lakhs.
But it's grossly underutilized.
Yes, grossly not utilized. The potential we have not utilized.
I think we have not even touched the potential.
Yes.
We've not even begun to explore.
Export promotion councils are organizing seminars, workshops.
I think
visiting industrial areas at the clusters, giving importance of export, trying to change the mindset. We are all doing, and ease of doing business has improved. External conditions, environment for exports has also improved. There should not be anything that should stop them.
But it is a two-way street, no sir. How much ever you educate, you take 2 steps, they should also come.
That's it. They are more focused on their day-to-day affairs, and they should. That's what they should. Hire somebody or focus for 2-3 hours on these areas.
This is the common trend you see across the country?
Across the country.
Okay.
States which have got industrialized early,
like Tamil Nadu,
like Gujarat, Maharashtra, maybe for whatever reasons, maybe business community. Earlier, business was through community.
Correct.
Not everybody used to go for business.
True.
So maybe the large population of business committee prevailing in those areas, they started early and they moved, and now go Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala in certain, not in engineering, maybe in spice exports.
Right.
People are joining in, but the size is not that what it should be compared to the potential what we have.
Correct. Okay.
Do you think they become comfortable because of the huge domestic volumes?
Yes. I experience that. Whenever I talk to people, whenever I invite them for a trade fair, when I tell them about the opportunities, the enthusiasm is not so forthcoming. They say, yes, we have adequate load. Then I said, yes, you have adequate load, but expansion should also be at the back of your mind. No. Then they say, where are the people to work? Then third is, we need to get capital. We have to go to bank ask for collateral.
Correct.
So they have a lot of excuses. I don't say there are not genuine excuses. There are genuine excuses. Labor is an issue.
Yeah.
Capital, cost of capital is an issue. Place is an issue.
Getting land. Yeah.
And though I don't know whether it is right on our on my part to comment here. I have not experienced, but I heard still compliances issues are yet to be sorted out. Though 100 has come to 50, 60, 40, but it has not. It should come still down.
It should come to 2 digits, I guess.
Compliances, multilateral agencies,
Yeah.
multilateral return filing. Those still
Issues are there.
issues are there. That's what I hear from the people. That is also bothering them. I think the government is towards reducing compliance, ease of doing business. It may take a shape, Government policy is such that when they make the policy, it is always liberal. But when they make the procedure, the procedure is such that it should not be misused.
Correct.
Right.
So there you have the control. That is all governments does that.
Yeah.
There is digitization has sorted out major concerns,
yeah.
because if you put your PAN,
More transparency.
everything will come out.
Transparency.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is transparency. So things will move.
So, sir, let's assume, let's get a bit tactical here. Let's understand how a beginner level exporter should approach exporting. Let's say I want to export. I'm a beginner. I'm not new to business. I've been doing some domestic business. I have my eye towards exports because I see the country growing. And eventually I see some opportunities. I'm a ambitious entrepreneur, right? How should one systematically approach engineering exports, specifically engineering exports? Because engineering exports has a lot of moving parts as compared to a service export. Because you have logistics, you have materials, you have manpower, you have land, you have cost of capital, lot of things going on at the same time for a single entrepreneur to manage. So how does one get started? Systematically, sir.
There is no, the reason I back this question, I had this question in my mind. There is no particular session, and there is no content on the internet, YouTube, anywhere, as to how one person can approach exports as far as engineering is concerned.
We have these training institutes and all, export training institutes and all, but from if I want to just get the information, EEPC, of course, a lot of information is available. How do I approach? How do I get started?
See, the answer is in your question.
Okay.
You do not have a standard SOP to become an exporter.
Okay.
Right? But having said that, to become an exporter is a question we hear only in a country like India. For example, you both are entrepreneurs. In India, mostly in Indian companies, I will see 2 departments. One is a marketing department and another is an export department. But why? Because here as I said earlier, we treat export as a different subject and marketing as a different, domestic as a different.
It's an option, not an opportunity.
Yes,
right?
it is a different. There is no difference. If you look at whether it is an MSME or a large or a corporate, in other countries there is only one department, that is marketing, which covers domestic or international. Because there is very fine difference between a domestic marketing and an export marketing. But looking at the Indian context, I need to answer your question based on Indian context.
Yeah.
Anybody who has to get into export has to develop that mindset to become an exporter. Once you develop that kind of a mindset, now yes, my industry is doing domestically well. The existing establishment is taking care of the present activity. Imagine, forget exports. You are setting up another product line in your factory. Product line in your factory. So when you set up another product line using the same infrastructure, little shift in your thinking will have. You will reduce your interest, not take away the interest, your concentration or focus in the present activity. 20% of your focus, your concentration, your activity, you move towards that another line of products. Similarly, in the marketing, that 100% focus you should be converted into 80%, and 20% you should move. You need to strategize. First thing, there is no special augmenting of your capacities to export. With the present infrastructure, with everything present, you can move into export. Only little bit of adjusting your spectacles. There, first thing is, when you think, when they say in our local language, to get married, the basic requirement is to find a girl. Rest of the things will follow suit. So first thing is the market and the customer. Rest of the things remain the same. There is no earlier. Yes, a lot of issues were there to become
maybe
an
20 years
exporter.
back.
Yes. And every year it is getting more liberalized, more easier. We need to identify the market. See, market, how it comes. If I look at people who have got into exports, market has come accidentally to them sometimes.
They never intended to
think of exports.
Right.
For example, you are here, somebody is exporting, and their customer asked him whether you are supplying this product. No, my friend is doing it. I will tell him to send a quote.
And they also started.
They start and they do better than this person. That is how it happens. Sometimes it clicks on its own.
Right.
It clicks on its own. Sometimes we need to make a concerted effort to get the market. And the market, when you think of a buyer, it is not buyers, they come to me, Export Promotion Council, any export promotion. Say, I want to export. So there is one Export Promotion Council.
Let me ask
one gentleman sitting. He thinks that I will be having a list of buyers. So that I say, what is your product? Then say, this is my product. Okay, take this and quotations. No.
That doesn't happen.
No one. I would tell him in a very different way. Gentlemen, if I had known, I would not be sitting here.
Correct.
I would be doing myself. Jokes apart, we need to make an effort on that. And there are different ways. Earlier, people used to visit places, send, to meet. See, that was also okay, because those days getting a supplier was also equally difficult for them.
Not like today.
Not like today.
You cannot just type and find.
So those days, that was the method. That was success rate was even high also. Now there is something like trade fairs happening. You need to, when you make 20% of your interest and focus, you need to allocate some money also.
Capital, yeah.
You need to participate in relevant trade fairs. Relevant trade fairs. There, first thing when you visit initially or you participate, it is not of getting an inquiry and order, but when you go there, you will know your level there.
Correct.
I make a certain product, and there are people who are making those products and displaying there.
Okay.
Where do I stand? Where do I stand? Then whether I am able to compete in this environment. See, I am here, but when I go to that level, see, national games is different, Asian games is different,
Correct.
Olympic is different.
Correct. Absolutely.
Not much of a difference, but there is again a competition there. You have to, everybody want to play the game there.
It's more like assessing yourself, are you competitive or
Yes.
not?
And there, when you participate in a trade fair, second is how about the negotiations. It will be on costing, one thing. How the international buyer negotiate, how do you do the cost analysis. It is not that I made a margin and I quote the price. No. It could be backward also. They will come with a drawing, they will come with a product. I want so many pieces, I want at this price, FOB or CIF. We should have developed that understanding. There you are going there, the costing. One is the costing. The second is technology level. Then the logistic part.
Supply chain.
That cost is also involved, not only the manufacturing.
Correct.
You are selling it to Sri Lanka is different, selling it to Europe is different,
Australia is
selling
different.
it to Latin America is different. These 3-4 areas we should have a first-hand information. And then any inquiry comes, you will be able to handle it. As far as the legalities, procedures, which used to take a lot of time for the exporters, that is not seen now.
Okay.
Maybe he need to look at the exchange rate, volatility in exchange rate, then whether he has to quote in rupees or in dollar, then taking loan from the bank, whether I should take loan in foreign currency or in Indian currency, which is beneficial for me. And he should also have understanding of the customs duties there, the free trade agreement concessions, what they are giving, and what are the incentives government of India is providing for the export. So what are the cost advantages I get out of exporting? And next is what is the payment terms they are accepting, what is the standard of that company. He need to understand the credibility, I would like to say, through Dun & Bradstreet or what they have their various
research
organizations. So once you look into, then he has to send the quotation, sign the contract, and it is a normal course of business. You should be able to manufacture, either you manufacture or get it outsourced, supply, it should exit your warehouse to the container freight station or the port. There the documentation is done by somebody else. And next is you have to deal with the bank for getting the money and all. So the procedure is quite simple. People are unnecessary thinking much about it. And once the first consignment is done,
then you will
then it is
right.
It is any
clarity after that.
Yes, yeah. And it is no looking back, and he would definitely prefer to increase his
share of exports.
See, he has a limited capacity.
Correct. Correct.
then of course he has the option to expand his capacity. That also is there. But if he doesn't want to expand his capacity, definitely he would be expanding his share in exports more, because he finds it more lucrative, less headache, more easier than the domestic market. That is how I try to put it simply and not make it complicated.
Right, got it.
The export process. Only I would first say understand the mindset, change the mindset, focus, think that I should export at least 10% this year, and allocate some budget for exploring the market.
Experimenting.
Exploring the market.
Exploring.
Exploring could be through exhibitions, through visits, by using digital marketing services.
Now, present day.
What you mean to say is not necessary to participate in the trade.
Absolutely not. Digital marketing,
as he said.
You need to spend time.
Yeah.
Correct.
Digital marketing plays a very important role. You need to understand the application of your product. Once you have the application of the product, you can how my product reaching the buyer. What are the channels of routing, whether it is direct or through distributor or through importers, and where are those importers, where are their associations. So it is very easier for Indian MSMEs right now to look at exports, because the government is signing free trade agreements everywhere.
Left, right,
now
and
it
center
is
it is going
Oman, UK, EU is happening. Within few days, I would say, a lot of free trade agreements have been signed now. Our goods are cheaper because of this in the imports compared to other countries. Second is the way those people are looking at us is changed now. Perception is changed. Thanks first to the software. I should fully give the credit to Indian software industry. They have uplifted, I don't know, people have difference of opinion on that. They have uplifted the image of the country, that
Correct.
India make technology product. That software in 90s and the 2000 millennium growth software created a buzz of Indian technology sector. Then that has put a ladder for other sectors, and others are climbing. But anyway, it is good for the country.
Correct.
And it is easier for anybody who can think of exports.
What are the...
Hope I'm...
It makes perfect sense.
It makes sense, sir. No issues.
I think you mean Narayan Murthy also, he played a major role. He was one of the leaders. No?
People like
Azim Premji, all those.
They are all, yes.
They are the pioneers.
They are the pioneers.
Yeah.
Narayan Murthy.
I think in the 90s they were the spearheading.
Though I don't sound political here, though many people have been given conferred Bharata Ratnas, but for me Narayan Murthy is the Bharata Ratna. So
right.
he brought a change in the image of India across the world.
Agreed, sir. I cannot deny that, actually. In fact, we have found India cheaper, to be honest. When we compare the cost of Chinese goods with the same product that we get in India is actually cheaper.
Yes, India has its own advantage. One is the cost advantage. Second is in Europe, because of the environmental concerns, both pollution and the noise, they have stopped manufacturing certain products.
Correct.
So there, that also added, advantage to the India. But Chinese, as you were saying, they were they are more aggressive.
Correct.
I remember one interview of one road contractor in answering a question. He says in China, in 200 kilometers, the road they lay in 30 days.
Yeah.
For 20 kilometers, you are taking 2 months. The road contractor says India is different. For 20 kilometers, I have to face 200 court cases.
Correct.
For China, it is not there. The speed at which the work happens there.
I have a friend of mine. He used to work in India about a decade back, and he is right now in China. Actually, he's been working there for more than 7 years. So I asked him, I used to have general conversation on business and stuff. I asked him, like, what percent of his company's business are exports, actually. That was my question to him.
He works for a Chinese company,
actually. Yeah. He told any Chinese exporter will have 70% of their volumes, minimum 60 to 70% of the volumes catering to the export market. Only 30 to 40%, sometimes less than 20% will be domestic. Majority of the volumes production will be directly exported only. That is the scenario in China, is what he told me. How is it in India? What Indian exporters, what percentage of their exports are exports, and what percentage of their production is domestic?
See,
generally,
China, if I look
obviously we have a lot of catching up to do.
Yes.
But in generally, what have you observed, sir?
China also has lot of domestic consumption, but their manufacturing capacity is much more than the domestic consumption. And China's foreign exchange earnings comes through exports alone. If you look at the foreign exchange reserves, it is up to $3 trillion. We are about $600 billion. And in the global share, India's share is about 2%, and China's share is about 17%.
Global.
Yeah, when China, because of the huge population, it was and originally a communist country, non-English speaking, they had to develop their country's economy through manufacturing only. We had, because of being an English speaking population, we thought of getting into service exports.
Knowledge sector,
yes,
not
Chinese,
the skill sector.
Because Chinese language is not a barrier for production, manufacturing.
Right.
So they had to develop their manufacturing and exports. They knew that they have to grow their economy through manufacturing. They achieved many things. First thing is their products, they have made many countries dependent on their products.
That is the key point.
Number two, they have built a very strong manufacturing base. Number three, garnered maximum share in the global export basket. And number four, they have amassed a lot of foreign exchange reserves. These are the ultimate results of Chinese economy. How that results have been achieved is, you cannot say China's manufacturing is China's economy is manufacturing oriented.
Correct.
It is only said individual units are made to focus on manufacturing predominantly and export oriented. So since the Chinese domestic consumption is also high, 30% naturally they have to do for domestic. And 70% exports. Imagine a scenario in Taiwan. Taiwan is, I would say, 99% exports and 1% domestic. Because if you look at a machine tool,
Taiwan is a leader.
Yes, exports if it manufacture 100 machines, it exports 98
Correct.
machines.
99 machines.
Correct.
Yes.
99 machines. So it is, they start the industry with focus on exports. They don't call it as an export, they call it as a marketing.
Market. Yeah.
The export is a marketing. If you go to any European,
I think
or
for them, business is exports. That's all.
there is no terminology called exports.
Domestic, this, that.
If you in Indian company, you will say export department, marketing department.
Correct.
In Indian balance sheet, export sales, domestic sales. And if you look at the list of customers, export customers, domestic customers.
Correct.
But if you look at any European, Chinese statistics, there will be only sales. Customers, in list of customers, there will be a Coimbatore customer. Next line will be a German customers. Next line will be a Chennai customers. The next will be American customers. See, it is same for them. It is same for them. So coming back to your question of what percentage. See, we cannot draw a general view on what percentage. Because hardly we have the size in the number. We have, if you say that, I would say, Coimbatore itself, I can say about 10,000 MSCs has the capacity to export. We have about 50,000 engineering MSCs in and around Coimbatore.
Correct.
About 10,000 has the capacity to export. Out of that, 1,000 are only exporting. And in that 1,000, about 300 are regular exporters. Remaining 700
on and off
exporters. So even though there are regular exporters, the range is between 10% to 40 to 50% exporters. Very few people say about 80% export. There are EOUs which says 100% export. The number is very small. So the range is varied. We cannot, one reason is number is out of the total demography of enterprises. Exporting subset we can call is very small. In
Out
that there is a variety.
Regular will be even smaller.
And irregulars are also there.
Correct.
In that regular, variation is from 10 to 50, 60.
Correct.
And very small number is 80, 90.
During the IESS Expo that happened, I remember someone asking the purchase head of Aether Energy as to, are you exporting? And he was telling for domestic itself, we have a 2-month lead time. So how do you expect me to export was the question that he asked us back. Yeah, makes sense. Unless we expand our capabilities drastically.
No, that's it. I have another solution for it. That should not be an answer. Domestic. See, that means you are providing 2 months lead time to supply to domestic. Why it is so? Can't you expand? We have everything here, the land here, the manpower here, the capital here. Domestic 2 months lead time is there. See, that is what I call the mindset. I look at a different angle. You may say you don't run an industry, you can talk. But unless entrepreneurs start thinking in those lines,
it's about taking steps.
I say second biggest workshop of the world next to China, their share is 17%, my share is 2%. So 17 to 2, the second rank is, the gap is too much. Gap is too much.
Correct.
See, India, everybody says China plus. And when China plus, there was a talk after COVID. China plus is the new.
I was about to ask you that question. China plus one strategy.
China plus, everybody started thinking China plus is next is India. But that did not
I don't think that panned out.
Because we don't have, we did not develop that capacity and the mindset to get into China plus what is that?
+1, China
that,
+1.
That position, that slot. China plus slot is created for us. That got distributed.
Yeah, between
into
countries like Vietnam,
Thailand, Turkey,
Thailand,
Vietnam, India, to some extent Korea, to some extent Eastern Europe.
Very few actually came in, right, from China during that COVID period.
Came in. There were other reasons also. I did speak to some people. We are not able to reach out to the rates what they are quoting. Some were able to do it. Some are doing it. But the real China plus did not happen.
Did not happen.
That's what I want.
That is
We
the
need to
ground
accept
level
it
truth.
and
Yes, yeah.
accept it and
Yeah,
try
and
to
we
come
need
out
to
of it.
start thinking this. I cannot 2 months lead time I give to my domestic. What you are thinking of export, that mindset should go. If I am blunt and rude.
Yeah, people have to start being proactive if they really want to be globally competitive. No?
Yes. See, we cannot once small. See the multinational companies, the Toyotas, the Samsungs, the Fords.
Correct.
Hyundai.
Say, did they think about their capacity? Did they think about their lead time, their board or their management?
Correct.
Hyundai. If they start thinking about my lead time in Korea, I am not supplying. Why should I think? Then would they become multinational giants like this? See, that is how one should think. Maybe maybe their management could be thinking.
So coming to the topic, on the same topic, sir, what are the common myths that you see Indian exporters or potential exporters have that you can use this podcast as a myth buster? Please enlighten us.
Yeah, myths as such. Yes, few years ago, 10 years back, we would have called those myths or inhibitions, I can say, in the minds of an manufacturer to get into exporters. Now, after I got into this activity, I don't call them as myths. But if you still feel that I should specify some of them for a small entrepreneurs, many of them think that export product means it should be a different product. And the parameters are different. The technology level is different. And the present dispensation which I have, I may not be in a position to manufacture that kind of a product. And that's the reason I don't want to get into exports. If I had to answer for this, bust this myth, so-called myth, I would say there is nothing like export product or a domestic product. There are, even for all products, there are different levels of quality. For all qualities, there are different customers. Similarly, for all products, there are different export markets. We need to look at the requirements of the customer. And try to manufacture the product that what the customer need in terms of its functional requirement, its specifications, its aesthetic aspects, its pricing,
packaging,
maybe packaging or delivery. So if you are able to do the same thing for your domestic, it is the same thing for your export market as well. So the innovation, the so-called myth of saying that export products are different. So domestic market products are different. I do not have the capacity to make is not the reason for not exporting. That myth is only in the minds of the people who think that way. Second would be the financials or the size of the company. Many of the MSMEs think that the buyer would definitely look at my size. And always we ourselves develop some complexes that we are low and somebody sitting across the seashore, so they are at the higher pedestal. It is not so. Irrespective of the size of the company, if you are able to cater to the needs of the customer who is overseas, and if overseas customer is happy to accept your quality, price, delivery schedules, you can export. And I have seen many people with their manufacturing establishment in a garage like premises doing exports. And I have seen many people who are just having a small tools shop with the tools. They source all the products from outsource. They assemble it and exports. What manufacturing dispensation they have? So that is another myth. Some people may be having for thinking into exports. That is again a mindset of the entrepreneur one should not have. The third is the contacts. They think that somebody should have ready contacts, either a customer base should have, or maybe my high school friend staying there, or my relatives, somebody's relatives staying there. He will establish my contacts there and they get an order there. Or my brother is staying there, he will establish. So some contacts before we get in, we should have some kind of a connection to exports in that market. That is also not true. That is also there as a myth or an inhibition, as an inhibitor for an exporter. That is also not true. And people, of course, earlier days, those things worked in maybe in earlier decades of 70s and 80s. Now, because of it has become a global village.
I think
now.
Because of the digital this thing now, it doesn't. It's very easy to find.
Before digital, the globalization started much earlier. Digitization gave it more pace to move towards that.
It has become easier.
It has become easier. So there is because everything. See, imagine you don't know. I think you are much younger. We used to get a small Panasonic tape recorder during our younger days. Getting a Panasonic cassette player is a hell of a task.
This was in the 90s. We were kids back then, but I still remember.
Yeah, it was because international trade was not that rampant, easy and fast. Somebody getting few sets of paying customs duty, they will give it to selected people only. Those days are different. Now see anything you can get.
Correct.
Anything you can get.
True.
So the global supply chain has expanded to an unimaginable level. So neither the exporter nor the importer in the global supply chain will not get into nitty-gritties of whether I know him personally, don't know him personally, what is this. It is only the quality, the cost, the delivery. That's it. You can get from anywhere, from any part of the world. So when the procuring side started thinking in those lines, we should also start
selling
thinking,
side also
should get their mindset into a global momentum.
Right.
And there these myths gets automatically busted. This is what few things that came into my mind. But those are all, they never existed earlier also. Maybe earlier in the sense about 2 decades from now.
It could have been the case, but now it is not there.
Yes. And if it is there, it is only in the mindset of few entrepreneurs who do not want to think out of the box.
There is also this perception that you might not get money, you might get cheated. All that perception is also there. But I think with insurance, export insurance, all that, the problems have been solved. But still, that at least from my conversation with my peers,
there is no system in place to get money from your domestic customers.
True, very true.
Suppose you are supplying to somebody in Chennai. If he is not paying, what is the option available with you? You have to only
go legally.
If you are strong in your documentation, like legal binding, and clauses in your contract, you can only file a suit in the court of law, and
hope for the best.
You know how much time it will take, and even he may contest in the court that upon your quality, on your delivery, and he will find out some reasons, and you will never think of getting back a money.
It's a Ramayana only.
Yes. But when you think of exports, there are systems in place. The risk of not getting money from your customer are more in domestic transactions than in exports, because exports payment have to go through a system which is defined by UCP 600, being regulated by International Chamber of Commerce. You have designated payment terms, you have a letter of credit. But if it is an open term, like what you do, there are
systemic risks.
There are little issues there for not getting money. But there are a lot of protective measures also. One is exports. If you are going through documents, bank documents, through DP or LC or DA, your money is secure. If you are doing an open transaction, what you do like domestic, I will send you goods, you pay me whenever you feel like, or 2 months, 3 months. If it doesn't pay, but it is same like domestic, but there is a provision of an ECGC cover. If you give 0.3% as insurance, they will pay you 90% of your money, so your losses are covered. Do you have this in domestic?
Correct.
You have absolutely nothing in domestic.
There is no protection.
No protection. There is no system. There is no protection. Then why do you say that money is a problem?
Correct. It could be the lack of awareness also.
Yes. Maybe why you should not get knowledge if there is lack of ignorance.
I think the problem is, for a lot of small businesses, is that the data is very scattered. We don't really get a clarity as to where we should go directly to get the knowledge. For example, you have export promotion councils. under which you have plenty of export, one for textile, engineering, precious metals, so on. You have FIEO, you have ECGC, you have DGFT. You have so many bodies working for exports, but then we don't have one unified portal where we can work together, right? Or is there something that even we don't know? I'm not sure.
No, if nowadays internet gives you a lot of information, even for some reason, I don't know how good to admit in this forum, even if I am stuck in any information, I rely on internet. You ask a question, it will give an answer. But we should be clever enough how to get the information, right information.
I think it starts with knowing what question to ask.
What question to, yes, you are right. What question to ask, and there will be A, B, C, D, 4 answers coming up.
Yeah.
And you should have that basic understanding of which answer is more appropriate.
More relevant to my problem.
Yes. Information is not available is just an excuse. Information is available. There are people who are there to provide information. You have organized a seminar today.
Yes.
And you might have informed about many people. Few people came. Few people were very keen. Few people were going out, coming in. Few people were so keen that even after lunch they started discussing also. So it is not EEPC or BNI group. A lot of such online, offline seminars happening all around. Once you make up your mind and start digging out information, today it is not possible. Maybe I can say a decade ago, your question is relevant to that.
But today information is there, but
it is scattered though is what we feel.
See, scattered, all information is available.
Yes.
Correct.
And what information you need, you have to pick it. And you may need different information, he may need different information. So for you it appears scattered, everyone appears scattered. And it cannot be tailor-made for individual's requirement.
It can be in a general context.
Yes, it is available. Everything available in your fingertips. It was on desktops, now it is on palm tops.
It was on files.
Earlier files.
Yeah.
It was difficult those days, physical, but you can get any question that arises, it is available. And there are forums who collate and disseminate. That also in the form of seminars, in the form of podcasts, in the name of webinars,
Correct.
In the form of books, in the form of online chats. They are available. If I say one day a 2-hour session on how to export, you will get 10 recorded webinars in the same.
I think to sum it up, either you should have the hunger to find the information or you will find an excuse.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. Hunger, yes. Hunger would be...
Hunger, mindset, conviction.
It all boils down to mindset, sir.
It
starts there.
You should have interest to get, and definitely you will get. And no information available, not moving an inch, you are at loss.
We have to constantly make attempts.
Yes, I agree. If information is not available, I agree to your point.
Yeah, true.
Available. Any information available.
You already mentioned that the perception of how Indians are seen globally has changed. It's a small, slightly complicated question. I had a friend who makes a product. Have you seen compressed oxygen tanks? They make that. So their idea was that when it comes to parts like components, fasteners, and all those, spare parts, for those parts, developed nations are acknowledging Indians, but when it comes to products, we are only able to sell at developing nations and not to the developed nations when it comes to products. especially technology-oriented products, was what he told me. This was 3-4 years back. Is it still the same? Is it improving? Or that is again a mindset?
Yes, I also mentioned it today. The pattern of engineering exports. You rightly hit the nail. That is still there, but moving towards the positive side. Earlier, as I said, the products, end-use items which we make in India are mostly exported to the third world, and the basic products, the raw materials, the semi-finished, the sub-assemblies, the components, they were end-use, it goes into the OEMs. They are exporting to the developed. But the situation is changing.
Okay.
But still in healthcare, maybe in critical areas, still they prefer products from a particular country and for a particular company, because they have the confidence in them. Similarly, for us also, whenever it depends on the application of the product we buy here, we definitely choose the brand, whether it is India. What is the value of the product for me? And therein we don't mind paying extra. We
don't mind paying premium.
Yes. So similarly, the developed world, especially the healthcare sector and all, they would, or any critical areas, maybe in the nuclear power stations or in the avionics, the defense, where you consistency, accuracy, reliability, their repeatability.
Correct. That is the last point is the most.
This importance is required for the functioning of the product. Very critical. They would definitely look for that kind of a manufacturer, and those manufacturers are in the developed world. Even in 10 years before, what was there, you don't see now for us. The perception is changed. To reach to that level, it may take another 10 years because what is happening now, because of this globalized environment, lot of multinationals are setting up plants in India. Even in Coimbatore, you see. So when they set up plants, they bring in technology. So when they bring in technology, maybe though they manufacture and send it to their own company. Maybe their own company or any other company, it is exports from India only.
Correct.
That is there. So slowly the perception is getting changed. A Japanese company in India, Korean company in India.
Correct. Yeah.
A lot of exports are happening. All critical components are exported. But they treat it as a Japanese or a Korean company, but exports are happening from India. So this also, the remaining whatever apprehension is there about the functional aspect of the product. I said repeatability, criticality, and consistency, accuracy. These are the most 100% requirement is there.
I think that is not only in the product, sir. In terms of operations also. It applies to operations also.
Yes.
Yeah.
When it is product, then it reflects in the operation.
Operations. Yeah, obviously, correct. 100%.
So that will shortly change. It is still there. I agree, but not it is what used to be earlier.
So the next part, sir, in terms of export financing, let us touch upon everybody's favorite topic, which is money. What is export financing? what does DGFT do? What does FIEO do? How does the financing ecosystem Forex touch upon those
banking schemes available from RBI?
I think you are explaining in our
ECGC also.
ECGC also. Please touch upon that for the benefit of everyone.
Sorry for the interruption. I have one quick announcement before we continue. We recently organized a seminar in association with the Engineering Export Promotion Council, which saw a participation of 70 plus manufacturers from around the city come together. This seminar was conducted by the guest of this podcast, Mr. Nadiger, where he goes even deeper on topics like how to begin your export journey, how does one systematically approach engineering exports, the various subsidies that Indian government provides to the engineering exporters, and if you are an existing exporter, how to expand your market reach, and so on. For the benefit of everyone, me and my team spent almost 40 hours videographing, editing and compiling the entire event along with the 40-page PPT which contains all the resources that is needed for anyone to get started with their engineering exports. If you want the link for the video of the entire seminar along with the 40-page documentation for free, I leave the link in the description below. Consider subscribing and do follow us for more such updates. Thank you.
When we talk of export financing, it is like any other financing for a banker. But for an entrepreneur, there are there is a scheme called the pre-shipment and post-shipment credit. There is also credit facility for in terms of with Indian rupees, and credit facility extended in IN and in foreign currency. So when you talk of pre-shipment credit, you get an export order. When you get an export order, you make your requirement and go to a bank. Bank over and above your limits will give a separate credit depending on the rules and regulations of the bank for that before shipment, for procurement of raw material, procurement of consumables, for your labor, whenever you make a submission to a bank. So the most advantage of this is there is a scheme called interest subvention. In interest subvention, in pre-shipment and post-shipment credit is only for exporters. All MSMEs are getting, earlier it used to be 3%, 2% subsidy on the credit.
Okay.
See, another disadvantage our exporters are facing when you compete with Chinese or India-like countries on costing. One is the size. Size has an advantage, size has a disadvantage. If low order volumes, India is doing well because Chinese don't take.
Batch volumes.
Batch volumes. If the size is big, our quotes are always higher because size matters. Chinese goods are cheaper.
Because they have the capability to mass produce.
Second is the infrastructure. The cost of infrastructure like power, the road conditions here, the transport, the overheads are a little higher. The third is the cost of capital. I think this generation should be lucky because we are getting capital at single digit interest.
Yeah, true.
Earlier I have heard entrepreneurs taking loan at 22%.
Correct. We've also
because
heard
depositors
that.
were getting 15-16%.
Yeah.
See, banks is a business entity.
Correct.
They have to pay it. But even 8-9% is higher compared to other countries, cost of capital. So government has come to the rescue and they call it as an interest subvention, 2%, 3% for some categories. that is in advance. Some banks charge the entrepreneurs fully, and once they get from RBI, then onwards they will charge reduced. But some bank start charging reduced interest from the day one. I don't want to comment which is right, which is wrong. For entrepreneurs, from day one,
it depends on our relationship with the banks
with
also.
the bank and the bank policy also.
Correct.
And there is another thing is they also sanction, give export finances on post shipment. You ship the goods, then you present the papers to the bank, your invoice, and they give the
cash
loan for the next batch manufacturing. There also interest subvention is required. And both are given in INR and also in foreign currency. Foreign currency is helpful if your imports, if your raw materials and procurement are largely imports. That means you don't have to face this currency volatility.
Yeah, okay.
Volatility. True. So you take a foreign currency loan and you pay in dollars. And even whatever
you
the
get
changes
that
happens.
Forex cushion.
It will be there and no volatility. So these majority will cover under these three, but many of them would, which has domestic or whatever it is, export combination is there, manufacturing is combined, very difficult to segregate between these two.
Correct.
They go with the regular loan, and now the interest rates, and even there are other schemes. The banker would be able to dwell more into that. They have some factoring services for the cushioning of the foreign currency,
right.
Hedging of currency, that facility they have.
I think banks will do on behalf of you.
Right? Yes. Right? No, banks will be. We are not doing. We are not into export financing. I'm giving just as an information. For the exporters, each bank has its own schemes in addition, like factoring, hedging. Maybe they are having interest LIBOR plus London banking rates. They add LIBOR plus 2 basis points, and they give the loan. That they will give to selective companies. They give that works cheaper, because for exports, even our companies say we need to compete with international rates. So depending on the information the entrepreneurs have, depending on the negotiation skills of the entrepreneur, depending on the credibility of the enterprise, bank offer these kinds of schemes. But for export, that interest subvention is a good move by the government to have that kind of a cushion. And ECGC is again a government of India organization. Their job is to protect bankers, protect you. Bankers, I want to use this forum to say something about that scheme. You take a loan from the bank. Bank is doing a business. They are taking interest for the loan. They are taking risk.
Correct.
Business is risk. But for that risk, they cover insurance for your loan. Okay? But the banks charge you that expenses.
Insurance expense.
Insurance.
That is not correct. It is the bank's risk. Your bank is doing it is bank's business.
They don't. They're hedged both ways, no?
No.
Right, it is like we asking the customer to pay for the insurance if they don't pay for it.
Yes. See, that is, it is
Right, no.
you hit it right.
Correct.
See, I don't know. I am taking it in different forum. They say RBI allows. I don't know. RBI, when RBI top people don't come here. When we talk to RBI, it is a policy not in my level. So it is banks' risk. Banks should pay out of their profits. Okay. So that is one cover.
Your observation, whatever.
It's my observation. That is ECGC's function.
Correct.
Bank, they cover your loan also. Your
principal,
advance.
Every loan is covered, right?
Yes, every loan is covered. But the paradox is
that insurance part.
That insurance you have to pay. That is not correct.
Correct.
Second is, yes, your buyer's non-payment risk is covered by the ECG. See that it is your
that is
risk.
okay, fair.
You have to pay. It's fair enough.
Yeah.
Right, that is fair.
That also insurance ECGC will not cover everybody. See, they have different premiums. They have categorized as A, B, C, D, E, D category. America, USA, Europe, they categorize A, where the risk is low, so premium is less. If you are selling it to Africa, where the risk is more, the premium is also more.
Right.
Premium is also more. Second problem what ECGC has is you are, I don't know how the organizations function. You are selling it to somebody, you go to the ECGC, they have the list, defaulter list. If your buyer is in that defaulter list,
No.
They don't
cover. I say, if he is not a defaulter, if he is a very good person, buyer, why an entrepreneur should come to you then?
They can directly.
They don't need. Why they have to spend? See, the risk, I don't know. It is how their business model works.
It is how it functions. Correct.
Model works. But okay, not all are defaulters, but they will see. If he is not a defaulter, there are different policies. Yearly policy, single customer policy, single consignment policy. So I would advise, if he is not documentary payment terms,
like LC,
DA, DP, not through bank, exchanging documents through bank. If it is not, I would advise to take insurance. I have seen lot of people coming to me post-COVID saying that they have been doing this business with that customer in Spain, France, Germany, Netherlands, United States for decades.
Without insurance.
Without insurance paying. You send goods, they keep sending money. Now all of a sudden they have not paid.
Not paid.
And when I say, why you are not taken insurance? What, 10 years?
10 years. Obviously, the trust will be there.
Trust will be there. Post-COVID, lot of developments have taken place.
And what is the cost, sir, for ECGC?
What is the cost of insurance, sir?
They say that's what now. ABCD is there.
Yeah.
Single consignment, single buyer, yearly. So they have usually average, it is coming 0.3%, something like that.
Of the invoice value.
Of the invoice value.
Nominal.
So that's what they say in public. I hear only in public. I have not gone with the application form.
Correct.
Once you go there, you will try to understand.
Right.
That is. And you raised about FIEO. See, FIEO is an organization established to take care of other products where there is no Export Promotion Council.
Oh, okay.
We have about 28 Export Promotion Councils. There could be many other products. So who is...
That doesn't fall under the umbrella of...
Individual Export Promotion Council.
Correct.
Then you can take the support of FIEO.
Right.
This foreign import-export of...
No, Federation of Indian Export Organizations.
Okay. Federation of Indian Export Organization.
DGFT is Director General of Foreign Trade, and it is the main agency under the Department of Commerce, Government of India, who which regulates foreign trade. For example, if it is not only promoting exports, but it regulates also. You will see onion prices have gone up, domestic. So they have to contain the inflation. DGFT will announce exports banned.
Oh,
Temporarily.
Whatever. Until further orders. So export stops, supply increases, prices come down.
that balance.
Yeah. But this is once in a while, maybe rice price increasing. So there are products which cannot be exported freely. Maybe ammunitions, maybe your sandal,
wood kind of.
Something that is critical for the nation itself.
and also some skins, hides of animals. So
Exactly.
these are all to be regulated.
Correct. Okay.
So for them it acts as a regulatory body.
Okay.
There are some which are banned, some are restricted. For free exports, 99% are free exports. It acts as a promotion body. Earlier, a lot of schemes were there for exports. Now, government says that one is they want to empower the industry to face the world. Not spoon feeding is not good. If you are now part of the globe, we should be, when you
Act
go to
like
Olympics, you should be competent enough.
Correct. Act like it.
Yes. That time, so what they say, we don't give incentives to you, but our policy is such that overall, we don't take anything from you as well in the form of taxes. Your cost is the cost to your customer. You add margin, that's it. Government will not add any costs into it. So,
Will not burden you.
yes, under that they have come out with certain policies like duty drawback, wherein some taxes is refunded. Your GST is not there for exports.
correct.
And whatever GST you paid for input products,
We can claim.
you can claim refund or take credit.
Yeah.
Then for some products like your fuel tax, your electricity tax, it is not under GST. Your electricity bill is not under GST.
Correct.
Your diesel is not under GST.
Petrol GST
is not there. So if you pay stamp duty for pledging your stock, for registering, that is not under GST. So those are also refunded in the form of RODTEP. So there's a RODTEP, GST refund or return credit, and drawbacks are your tax returning mechanisms. There is another scheme called advance authorization. For example, you are importing a raw material for export product, and the raw material cost is high in India. So it is cheaper elsewhere. So if he buys here, it will be expensive, he cannot compete. If he imports, he has to give customs duty, and again cost is added. So government allows him to import raw material free of duty.
As long as he's exporting it.
As long as he is exporting, adding value and
exporting it back.
Right.
So that scheme government has brought. That also helps importing of material. One is expensive material in India, replacing the expensive material, and if the material itself is not available in this country.
Material or technology also, right?
Not technology, material.
Raw material.
Raw material is not available in this country. So that has to be imported. So for that. And we have another scheme called EPCG.
Okay.
Export Promotion Capital Goods. Here the technology factor comes. So for capital goods and technology, we can import without payment of duty. And there is also a obligation for the exporter. If you are not able, if you whatever the above duty saved, that in 6 years, you have to export that value 6 times over and above what you are exporting now.
Okay.
So that condition they have put. So these are some of the schemes, incentives operated by DGFT and Ministry of
All
Finance
these
for promotion of exports. Apart from that, for exhibitions and all, there is a subsidy for stall.
Yeah.
There is a airfare reimbursement. If you do
For
the testing, international exhibitions, if you do the testing outside, 50% of the testing charges is also reimbursed. So these are all some additional SOPs given to
You are also mentioning about government refunding some amount if you run an ad outside the country.
That if you are fighting a legal battle outside the country, that part of the legal fees also is being reimbursed. If you give an advertisement outside, part of it is reimbursed. It has to go through EEPC. We will submit it to the government, and government releases.
So can you throw some light on that, sir? What kind of advertisements?
It could be newspapers, it could be magazines.
Does it cover digital ads?
See, when the scheme was implemented, the digital ad coverage was not, we have not, I don't remember to have recommended for reimbursement of such things. So if a situation comes, we can see what happens.
Yeah. As things progress, maybe
we can send
which
it.
Also means not any of us have tried.
Maybe no. Even these schemes, testing, a lot of people are taking benefit. There's other schemes like legal support, as well as advertisement support. A lot of people are
not taking benefit.
Not using it.
Still underutilized.
Underutilized.
So
these are some of the schemes to help. Another point I would like to say, it is not that the government is preparing you to fit enough to be a solid player in that field. That is one reason why government is not giving SOPs to you for the exporters. Earlier, people were getting a lot of schemes like MEIS, DEPB, focus market, focus product scheme. But there is an objection at the international forum like WTO from other governments. They say there is an understanding in the WTO that there should be level playing field in the international market. Is government, it should be entrepreneurs of India, entrepreneurs of the world. It is their cost, their strategy, their manufacturing, and their trade. No support from government.
Right.
So there was the MEIS scheme earlier, which used to be there, that was objected by US government, that you are giving an additional SOP, so your Indian company will become more competitive than the government, the American or other country. So there is no level playing field. It is like an athlete taking a drug and fighting.
MEIS was a kind of an incentive.
Incentive, yes.
So we export for 1 crore, we will get 2 or 3 lakhs.
Here, all the schemes I mentioned, it is not an incentive. Right. We are giving back the taxes collected by the government.
Right.
So these schemes are WTO compliant. Incentives are not WTO compliant because you are injecting additional power by the government to an entrepreneur to fight in the global trade.
Correct, got it.
Apart from the IESS, International Engineering Sourcing Show, that you conduct in India, what are the other expos that EEPC facilitates for the Indian industries to participate abroad?
As per our experience, what we have found out, the best way, the best medium to reach out to his prospective customer for an entrepreneur is through trade fairs and exhibitions. Now the markets, the B2B markets, any product, I don't say engineering alone, is so streamlined that everything happens in that particular place, arranged for a particular set of day, which we call it as an exhibition or an expo or an exposition or a trade fair. It could be a launch of a book on that subject. It could be a launch of a product. It could be a launch of a technology. It could be a conglomeration of buyers and sellers for that particular product sector in that particular geographical regions. So we thought that the best way to promote export is to give exposure, market exposure to our members, and the only way to get good market exposure is to take them to the best world-class trade fairs happening around the world for that kind of a product sector. So EEPC, for the last decade, we are focusing more on these trade fairs, and we also, every time we learn, and that learning helped us to select the best exhibitions for our members depending on the product sectors. So we have two types of opportunities we provide them, the platforms we provide them. One is called INDI, Indian Engineering Exhibition. In some countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Kenya, Vietnam, Tanzania, Ethiopia, wherein the markets are not scattered, small and concentrated, wherein they use many of our products. We take a group of 100 companies covering all product sectors, and we do a big bang approach. Lot of publicity we give all over the country. The country is smaller, market is smaller. We go well in advance. It will be our own exhibition. We call it as a standalone, which we call INDI, wherein the capacity of Indian engineering manufacturing will be displayed in that. So the result, we have done about 40 indies in the last couple of decades, 2.5 decades. The statistics, export statistics shows that after we do our Indie exhibition with 100 companies, 200 companies, our exports to that country has increased, grown up. The impact of India, their perception on India got changed, started buying. Our people started setting up agents, setting up offices, and exports started flowing because all products get in. That is called Indies. The second is, engineering is always a technology product, and there are lot of sectors: automobile, aerospace, electrical, machine tools, metalworking, construction, medical devices, various types of ferrous and non-metal related, motion and drives. So many sectors, and these sectors have further super specialized into different types of products. So in the developed world, even exhibitions have also graduate into many folds, super specialization. So you have in electrical, you have a rotating machine exhibition. You have a coil winding exhibition. Machine tool expo, automechanica, electricity, medical devices, healthcare. So here we cannot participate in all, but we select those groups: pumps and valves, castings and forgings, precision components. So depending on the type of expo there, we take 20, 25 and put them in India pavilion there. Okay. So that is another type of expo we do. In both the places, we have a good success rate. And nobody comes empty-handed when they participate in exhibition.
International,
provided they choose the right country and the right expo for their product.
Correct.
If they are not selecting the right, we in a general way select, but the company should select the right.
Right.
And the third one is, you all know, the International Engineering Sourcing Show, the IESS. The 12th show, 11th we are completed.
Yeah.
And this is just to give an exposure for people who do not wish to travel, who want to be in India, participate in an international event, get an international exposure within our country at Indian costs.
Correct.
That is also important.
That is also important.
And we are getting international buyers with the support from Government of India. And that is another type of platform we are giving. And apart from that, where there are places where we do not, it's not that big to have an exhibition. There is no big exhibitions happening where we can put up India pavilions. There we take business delegations, the B2B.
Right.
Small countries like Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Laos, Belarus,
Right.
Panama, Honduras. See, those countries should not be left.
Correct.
We have to reach out. So
Export
for that,
is export.
Export is export. We take them there and have B2B, and then it is up to them to continue. For participating in trade fairs through EEPC, we provide first stall at a concessional rate, maybe on an average about 20, 25, 30, 35%, depending on the expo cost, depending on the place that works out to be that percentage of subsidy. And for one person under the government scheme, we call it as MA scheme guidelines, we reimburse an air ticket cost up depending on the area. If it is America, Latin America, 1.5 lakhs. If it is Europe, about, and others is 1 lakh. Africa is again 1.5 lakh. That reimbursement is done. So this we are doing very well, and a lot of people are getting exposure. And apart from that, our events, lot of trade fairs, our people are going. EEPC does about 25-30. And once they took the help of EEPC, get export market, start exporting, start earning, then they really get the feel of participating, try to understand the advantage of participating in
once
international
they get
event.
that exposure, they themselves start.
They themselves now book exhibition, select which is good, go there, repeat participation.
Right.
They augment the stall also. EEPC under subsidy will give a nominal because
whatever is possible
we are giving. But when they go there, they participate. Even We have, for example, Akima. You said somebody has gone from here. We have about 15 companies participated by, organized by EEPC. We see about 40 companies participating there on their own. They have built up a capacity. They don't need our support. We like that. Our objective is more and more number of...
Eventually, that is the goal.
Small people should come in.
Yes.
Bigger exporters
and once
should...
they graduate, leave space for smaller people, you go on your own.
Yeah.
And we are happy for that.
Right.
They choose that.
Right.
They want
correct.
to be alone.
That is true.
It is like a lion, which it will be under the shade with group.
Correct.
And then once it grows, it moves out of the territory and forms its own territory.
Right.
That's how.
So, apart from EEPC, I hope every Export Promotion Council conducts this kind of subsidies for their respective products.
I told you there are about 28. You have export for coir board, we have spices board, coffee board, plastic export promotion councils, textile, apparel, gem and jewelry, and Capexil, Chemixil, Pharma.
Okay.
All will be supporting their respective products, their members, their handicrafts, Export Promotion Council, Handloom Export Promotion Council. Everybody does the same kind of job. Maybe EEPC is a bigger council. Our activities are, members are more. Our contribution to the export is more. We may be doing little more activities depending on the size and depending on the interest, depending on the product.
So, a final question, sir. If any of the viewers, they want to become member of EEPC or want to get in touch with you or your colleagues, how can they get in touch? Where are your offices? And
all engineering manufacturers who are not exporting, who are exporting but not member of EEPC are welcome to become member. They get a lot of services. Apart from getting the platform in exhibitions, we provide them a lot of information about export. We conduct a lot of workshop and seminar for knowledge augmentation. We help them in technology upgradation. We have solution for all of their problems, including getting visas for their travel, helping them to get visas for their travel. What are the developments that are taking place around the globe? Yes, we are there. We are their voice before the government. These are all.
Right.
And for getting the schemes like status holder, EPCG, advance authorization, they need to be a member of the respective council. So engineering exporters are welcome, and the fees are very nominal, and you need to reach out to the website of the DGFT, Director General of Foreign Trade, and there we have a link to register as a member in the Export Promotion Council. EEPC has about 8 offices, 4 in the region, 8 plus 2, 4 regional offices, 2 head office, one in Calcutta and another is in Delhi, HO cell we call, and Calcutta, Delhi, Bombay, and Chennai are regional offices. Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Hyderabad, we have Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Bangalore. Yes, we call ourselves sub-regional offices where EPC has stationary offices. Apart from that, we have 16 chapters where we don't have a secretariat office. We have a chapter convener, deputy convener. Here, Dr. Chandrasekhar in Coimbatore of Roots is a convener. Dr. Mohan Sundari is a deputy convener. They are also willing to support the entrepreneurs.
Like that across the country?
Across the India we have. Wherever we are not present as an office, we have made chapters.
Great, sir. Great. So, Thank you so much, sir, for spending so much time with us and giving us such valuable insights. I sincerely hope the members of the audience, whoever is still there till now, has found value. Thank you for sticking around. And thank you once again for coming from Chennai and giving us such a wonderful session, sir. Thank you so much.
I should also thank you for giving this opportunity. Our job is this. No, I'm not doing any favor. It is part of my duty. So listening to this, if few of them start thinking about exports, out of them, if few lesser become exporters, my job is done. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.